Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Kassandra and I will be guiding you through this 25-minute core flow. Please make sure you have a block handy. And let's just start in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly pose. So bringing the soles of the feet to touch, knees fall apart. And let's start tuning into our breath, breathing deeply in and out through the nose for about 5 more deep belly breaths. And then finally bringing the knees back to center, grabbing your block and placing it in between your thighs. Knees come directly over top of your hips, pressing your low back into the mat. Interlace your hands behind your head and take one long inhale right here, and on your exhale, curl head and shoulders up. Inhale to lower it back down, squeeze your block, exhale to rise. Inhale, fill up the belly to lower. Exhale, curl head and shoulders up. Inhale to lower it down. One more. Exhale to rise, squeezing your block. Inhale, coming down. Exhale to rise. Last one. Inhale, down, and moving the block out of the way, taking a few breaths here. Hands come onto the belly before we move into our second set of abdominal exercises. For this next one, please cross your right thigh over top your left, maybe hooking the toes under, and swing your right arm underneath your left, maybe binding at the wrists. At the inhale, lengthen your knees and your elbows away from each other, and as you exhale, bring them in close, curling up. Inhale to lengthen away. Exhale, curl head, shoulders, and tailbone up. Inhale away. Exhale to rise. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbows and knees come to touch. Inhale to lengthen out. Exhale, curl it up. Inhale to lengthen it out and release. Taking a few breaths before we explore the second side, this time crossing your left thigh over your right. Left arm goes under your right. Inhale, elbows and knees stretch apart, and exhale to curl it up. Inhale, create length and distance. Exhale, bring it all in together. Inhale. Exhale, curl head, shoulders, and tailbone. Inhale, relax it down. Exhale to rise. Inhale, lengthen it out. Last one. Exhale, curling it up. Lengthen on the inhale and let it go. Please make your way onto your belly for Sphinx pose, just to relax and release the abdominals a little bit. So bringing your elbows underneath your shoulders, or maybe a little further out, depending on how your back is feeling. And see if you can let your head hang heavy to release the back of your neck. Take a few deep breaths here, deep into the core. And on your next exhale, lower all the way down, slowly pushing back, making your way into a tabletop position for a few rounds of cat and cow. So on the inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curling tailbone up, and exhale, pushing the breath out, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, squeeze the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly. Exhale, chin to chest. Please step your hands a few inches forward, preparing for downward dog. So lifting the hips up and back on the exhale, bending through the knees, finding the alignment here, making sure that your feet are hip width distance apart, hands shoulder width distance apart, and on the inhale, moving forward into plank pose, dropping the hips. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Inhale, shifting the weight forward, shoulders over the wrists, inhaling into plank. Exhale, hips go up and back, downward dog. Inhale, coming up forward into high push-up. Exhale, back into down dog. Inhale, coming into plank pose once more. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward into plank, and this time we're going to hold it for about 5 breaths. So keep grounding through your knuckles, curling your tailbone under towards your back heels and pressing your belly button towards your spine. Keep breathing. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Please walk your hands to the back of the mat so you can hang heavy in a ragdoll position. You'll be keeping your knees bent so your belly can comfortably rest on your thighs, relaxing the neck so the head can hang heavy and maybe swaying from side to side. You can interlace your hands behind your sacrum, bringing your knuckles close towards the ground in front of you to open up through the pectoral muscles, the shoulders, and the upper back. Slowly bring your fingertips back onto the ground, bending generously into your knees as you roll all the way up to standing into Tadasana mountain pose, rolling the shoulders up and back when you get there, and stepping your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, arms rise overhead, palms come to touch. Exhale, swan dive forward, bending at the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, step your right foot back, lowering your right knee onto the ground, coming into Vinyasa, low lunge. Arms reach overhead, rolling the shoulder blades down the back, making sure your left knee is not coming past your left ankle, maybe bringing the palms to touch for a slight back bend. Exhale, both palms come back down, sending the hips back into half splits, flexing through your left foot, making sure your spine is long. Exhale to bend back into that left knee. Step your left foot back to meet your right in a high push-up position. Exhale to lower all the way onto your belly. 3 baby cobras. Inhale, chin, chest, and palms rise up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, rising up, squeezing the inner thighs. Exhale to lower. Inhale, chin, chest, and palms rise up. Exhale, ground the palms, curl the back toes under, reverse your push-up, coming back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, lowering your left knee onto the ground. Low lunge on the second side. As you inhale, both arms rise up, tucking the tailbone under, pressing belly button towards your spine, maybe moving into a slight back bend by inviting the palms to touch. Sending the breath down through that left hip. Engaging your hip flexors and the abdominals here. Exhale, your palms come back down, shift your hips back, half splits on the second side, flexing through your right foot. Exhale to bend through that front knee, curl the back toes under in your high push-up, lowering on the exhale all the way down. 3 more baby cobras. Inhale, rise up, squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, curl head and shoulders up. Exhale to lower back down. Last one. Inhale to rise, keep grounding the tops of your feet in the mat, and lower down on the exhale, pushing back through tabletop position, back into downward facing dog. Stepping to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, slowly rise, press to stand, palms reach overhead, and exhale into Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, arms rise up and reach overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step both feet back into high plank, moving into side plank now as we lower our left knee onto the ground and slowly turn towards the inside of our right foot. Right arm rises overhead, stacking right shoulder above your left, maybe seeing if the feet will stack one on top of the other, maybe seeing if that top leg wants to lift up. And for a final variation, you can always play with grabbing the big toe with the 2 peace fingers and stretching it out, pressing your hips up on the inhale and coming back down very slowly into plank pose on the exhale. Back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises towards the sky, and on the exhale, step your right foot in between your hands to the top of the mat, this time staying high on the ball of your left toes as you come into crescent lunge. Bend deeply into your left knee so you're leveling your pelvis directly underneath your shoulders, rolling those shoulder blades down your back, stretching through that left hip flexor. Interlace both hands behind your sacrum, rolling your shoulders up and back for a slight back bend, and then on the exhale, folding forward to the inside of your right thigh. Keeping a slight micro bend in the elbows here and allowing the head to relax down. Bring both arms back up on the inhale, and then step back into high plank, hovering that right leg as you lower all the way down onto your belly for 3 cobras this time. So using your hands, inhale to roll up, exhale, lowering down. Inhale, chin and chest rise up, pelvis is still grounded on the mat. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, rising up, keeping the elbows close to the ribs. Lowering down softly, curling your back toes under, reversing your push-up and making your way back into downward facing dog. And let's take a few deep breaths here in downward facing dog before we continue on to the second side. So taking deep belly breaths and then shifting the weight forward back into plank on the inhale, and this time lowering your right knee onto the ground, turning the inside of your left foot out, stacking your left shoulder over top your right, and then maybe seeing if the feet will stack for a little bit of an extra challenge, maybe floating that top leg, left leg up, or maybe even grabbing onto the big toe with the peace fingers, extending through that left leg, sending the hips up high, and slowly making your way back into your plank pose, and then downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg rises towards the sky. On the exhale, step your left foot to the top of the mat in between your hands, setting up for the second side here. Arms rise up on the inhale and reach overhead. Please bend into your right knee, leveling your pelvis once again. And let's interlace our hands behind our back the more unusual way, rolling the shoulders up and back on the inhale, and as you exhale, fold forward to the inside of your left thigh. Allow the head to be heavy here as you relax through your neck, and please keep a gentle micro bend in your elbows. Slowly start to come up on the inhale, arms reach up overhead, and as you exhale, plant your palms, step your right foot back to meet your left, and lower down onto your belly on the exhale. Inhale, chin and chest rises, keeping your elbows close towards your body. Exhale to drag your heart forward as you lower down. 2 more. Inhale to rise up, shoulders are away from the ears. Exhale to lower. Inhale, squeeze the inner thighs to rise up. Exhale, coming down, and this time moving back into Balasana, child's pose. Taking a few restful deep breaths right here before we continue on with our practice. Use this time to reconnect with your breathing and get it back to that long, smooth quality. Notice if it's become a little shallow or a little fast-paced, slow it down. Feel your hips sink closer towards your heels with every exhale as you press your palms lightly into the mat. Feeling the belly and the ribs expand. And then slowly we'll just lower all the way back onto our belly and interlace both hands behind your back, and on the inhale, lift head, chest, and legs off of the ground, grounding your pelvis into the mat, squeezing the inner thighs together and lowering your shoulders away from your ears. Taking a few breaths here in Shavasana, engaging the erectors, squeezing your shoulder blades behind your back and engaging the feet here. Keep the back of the neck long as you look only a few inches in front of you, and slowly make your way back down, turning one ear onto the mat. Breathing deeply into your belly, into your lower back, releasing any tension before we continue on with our practice. Slowly bring your palms beside your ribs as you make your way into downward facing dog, first going through tabletop position. Move very slowly here as you curl your back toes under, sending your hips up and back. Pedal the feet a little bit by bending one knee and then switching sides and bending the other. And when you're ready, on the inhale, you're going to look forward to the top of the mat and step or hop your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, bend your knees, drop your hips, moving into Utkatasana chair pose, bringing your arms alongside your ears, remembering to roll your shoulder blades down your back. Sink your hips a few inches lower. Inhale to raise them up about 1 inch. Exhale, lower 2 or 3 inches down. Inhale to rise an inch. Exhale, lowering even more. Inhale to raise it a little. Exhale, make your way onto your hips, bringing your legs out into boat pose, straightening them out, bringing your arms alongside your body, broadening through the collarbones here, engaging your abdominals, and then moving down into low boat as you bring your lower back to press into the mat. Press your belly button towards your spine, squeeze your inner thighs together. One more full breath cycle. And then slowly lower down onto your back, onto the mat. Bring the soles of your feet back down onto the mat, bending into the knees. Straighten out your legs, pointing your toes towards the sky. Please interlace your fingers behind your head as we move through more abdominal work. Take one inhale to stay exactly as you are, down on the mat, filling up the belly. And as you exhale, curl up, twisting towards your right thigh, lowering your left leg at a 45-degree angle. Press your lower back into the mat here. Inhale, lift the leg back up, come back to center, and exhale to twist towards your left thigh as your right leg lowers down. Both shoulder blades off the mat. Inhale, back to center, curl tailbone up. Exhale, twist towards your right thigh, lower the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twisting towards the left this time. Engage your feet. Inhale, back to center, curl tailbone up. Exhale, twist towards the right, lowering your left leg. Inhale, back to middle. Exhale, twisting towards the left, dropping your right leg. Inhale, back to center. Hold here, curl tailbone up, shoulder blades off the mat. And exhale to lower it back down onto the floor. Hug both knees in towards the chest, massaging the low back into this modified happy baby pose. Feel free to come into the full version of Happy Baby here by grabbing the outsides of your feet and placing your elbows to the insides of your knees. And still gently rock from side to side here, massaging the lower back, making sure the entire length of your spine is firmly grounding into the mat. And from here, release your feet down, coming into supported bridge pose by grabbing your block and placing it directly underneath your sacrum. I like to stay on the lowest level to start with. You should be able to touch your heels with your fingertips, and please make sure your feet are hip-width distance apart. For this variation, we'll be opening up a little bit through the hips, so please pull your right leg in towards your chest, and you can keep your left leg bent, or you can feel free to extend that left leg, firmly pressing your left heel into the mat. Feel free to invite a few ankle rolls here. And notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders, in your jaw. Allow this to be as passive as possible. And let's take a few more deep belly breaths here as we lengthen out through that left psoas, or left hip flexor. Bend your left knee and lower your right foot back down onto the mat. Switching sides, this time we'll pull our left knee in towards the chest, and you can keep your right leg bent, or you can extend it down, pressing firmly into your right heel this time. Being mindful of any differences from one side to the other, knowing that you might need to adjust a little bit. Maybe invite some ankle rolls here as well. Start to bring the attention inwards. Feeling out that right hip flexor and sending your breath through those areas of tension. Please lower your left leg onto the ground, bringing the sole of your right foot back. Press firmly into the mat as you lift your hips up and move that block out of the way, slowly lowering back down. Preparing for a twist next, so extend your arms out to either side and gently lower both knees over onto the left side. To make this a little bit more intense, you can feel free to wrap your right thigh around your left. Send your breath all the way down to your lower back, trying to keep both shoulder blades grounded on the mat. Bring your head wherever is comfortable. And if your knees are quite far away from the ground, you can feel free to put a block there. Adjust however you need to. The closer your knees are towards your chest, the more intense this position will be. Engage your abdominals as you slowly bring both knees back to center, unwrapping the legs if you had that variation, setting up for the second side as both knees now lower onto the right side, maybe wrapping your left thigh around your right, making sure your left shoulder stays grounded into the mat. Maybe grabbing a prop to place underneath your knees if that feels appropriate for you. Engage the abdominals as you lift both knees back to center. And right now we'll set up for Shavasana, our final resting pose. Slowly lay down on the mat, palms face towards the sky, taking up as much space as you want and staying for as long as feels comfortable to you. Maybe allowing the eyes to close as you bring the attention inward. Taking the time to thank yourself for practicing today. And I'd like to thank you so much for watching this video and doing this practice with me. I hope you have a fantastic day. Namaste, everyone.